Salut, bonjour, bonsoir. I'm Cassie, your French tutor, so you learn French the French way. Today, I'm going to teach you how to introduce yourself. So we're going to cover the basic sentences to say your name, where you're from, your age, your occupation, and which languages you speak. That's quite important because that's the very first impression you will make when you meet a French native speaker. So let's make sure you remain polite all the way through, that everything goes smoothly, but it's fine because I'm here for you, I got your back. Donc allez, on y va. La première chose, c'est toujours de saluer, de dire bonjour. Et si tu ne te souviens pas comment on fait, je te laisse le lien vers la vidéo que j'ai faite à ce sujet-là. Comment tu t'appelles? We start with saying your name. There are several ways to say it, but just like in English, there are also several ways. You can say my name is, I am. Well, it is exactly the same thing in French. We're gonna use two verbs for that. That would be être and that would be appeler, but more precisely, s'appeler. I'm gonna show you why, no worries. So one of the ways to say what's your name is mon nom est. Mon nom est. This one is a bit more textbook French. So let's go to the other ways of saying your name. You have je m'appelle. Je m'appelle. Literally, it means I call myself. Je m'appelle. Then you say your name. But using être, you also have moi c'est, moi c'est, or je suis. Je suis. And once you're done saying your name, well, you add enchanté. Enchanté de te connaître.
Salut, moi c'est Cassie. Je m'appelle Cassandra.
Quel âge as-tu? Now we switch to say the age. And we're not gonna need être, like to be in English, but we're gonna use avoir. It is the equivalent of the auxiliary have in English, but we're not using it the same way at all. Instead of saying I am 29 years old, you're going to say I have 29 years. J'ai en. J'ai en. Et si tu ne te souviens pas comment compter jusqu'à 59, pareil, je te mets le lien.
J'ai 29 ans.
D'où viens-tu? And now we move on to the origin of someone. So that can be the nationality, the country they come from, but it can also be where they live, because sometimes it's not the same. Take me, for example. I'm from Paris, France, but I live in the Netherlands. When you talk about someone's origin, that can be one or the other. That's why we're going to use two verbs. Venir, habiter. Venir de is like come, from, etc. Habiter is to live, but as in I live in a place. I live in an apartment. J'habite dans un appartement. For the country, you're gonna say je viens de France, je viens de Belgique, but that is for feminine countries. What? I know, it's weird. Countries also have a gender in French, but I swear it's not that hard. Basically, in 99% of the cases, if the country ends with the letter I, E, it's feminine. For the rest, except Mexique, et Cambodge, et Zimbabwe. So for the rest, if it doesn't end with I, it's masculine. That's how it goes. So you're pretty safe here. Je viens de, and then your country. If the country is like plural, for example, the United States, les États-Unis, the Netherlands, les Pays-Bas, je viens des Pays-Bas, je viens des États-Unis. And if it is masculine, that would be du. Je viens du Mexique, je viens du Guatemala. But if it is a bit too hard for you, and I can understand because that thing with genders, it is confusing. Even for French people, sometimes we're not even sure what the gender is.
Tu m'étonnes.
So if it is confusing, it's fine. Just say I am, and then your nationality. Je suis française. So here you need to pay attention to the gender again, but to your gender. So that's something you will get used to. If you identify as a man, then that would be like je suis français. Well, if you learn French, I guess you're not French, but qui sait? So, je suis français. But for people who identify as women, That would be je suis française. And then it changes depending on the countries. Je suis américain, je suis américaine. Je suis japonais, je suis japonaise. Now, if you want to give more information, more details, and you want to say the city, you will also use je viens de. For example, me, I come from Paris, je viens de Paris. Now, let's not talk about where you're from, but where you live. And the verb is habiter. J'habite. J'habite. For cities, it is quite simple. The preposition will be à. J'habite à Paris. J'habite à Utrecht. But if you want to say in which country you live, the article will change depending on the gender of the country again. So with feminine countries, you say en. J'habite en France. J'habite en Espagne. J'habite en Thaïlande. But if it is a masculine country, then you will use à and the article les. À plus les together, but no worries, I'm going to explain that in details in other lessons. So if for now the combination between the preposition and the article is weird, no worries. If you're from a country that is plural, les États-Unis, les Pays-Bas, that would be j'habite aux États-Unis. J'habite aux Pays-Bas. Now if it is singular masculine, for example Mexique, j'habite au Mexique. Féminine, j'habite en Allemagne.
Je suis française de Paris et j'habite aux Pays-Bas.
Quel est ton métier? This one is quite simple, especially because we've already seen être, donc to be. So you will use the same thing and then your occupation. So for example, let's say you're a student. Je suis étudiant. Usually in French, we need an article for all common nouns. You need an article, but not with occupations. Je suis étudiant or étudiante if you identify as a woman. That depends on you. For me, for example, je suis tutrice. The masculine would be tuteur. But you can be anything. Let's say you're a cook. Je suis cuisinier or cuisinière.
Je suis tutrice de français.
Tu parles quelle langue? Okay, we're almost there. Bear with me. So we're going to talk about the languages that you speak. That can be important. So the person you're talking to, they understand that maybe French is not your mother tongue. Maybe you can find common ground. Though it is good to practice your French. If you have common grounds with the person, that's good to know, because if you do not remember a word, maybe you can tell them in a language that you both speak. So that's why I include this one in the introduction, because I think it is quite convenient to know. So here the verb we're gonna need is parler, to speak. Parler. Je parle, blah blah blah. Je parle anglais. Je parle espagnol. Je parle français. Je parle allemand. Whatever the language you speak. And you can list them. Je parle français, anglais, italien, etc. At the end of a list, in French, you need to add et. Je parle anglais, français et italien. You want to give a bit more details about your level? You could say je parle bien anglais. You speak well. Je parle un peu anglais. Je parle un peu français. I speak a bit. So then, again, the person you're talking to knows what to expect from you. But you can also say that you're learning a language. And that would be the verb apprendre. J'apprends le français. Here, you need to add the article. J'apprends le français. J'apprends l'espagnol. Donc, je parle anglais, français et j'apprends l'espagnol. And here you have a complex sentence.
Je parle français, anglais, espagnol, un peu néerlandais et j'apprends le japonais.
And I have a bonus for you. Once you're done introducing yourself, it is actually good to show that you care about the person you're talking to. So you're gonna ask them, et toi, et toi. But pay attention to rules of politeness. Sometimes we use toi, sometimes we use vous. I'm gonna make an entire video about it if it's not clear. If you're close to the person, you have the same age, maybe you have friends in common, go for et toi. If you're not sure, the person looks older than you don't know them, or just if you're not sure, et vous.
Salut, moi c'est Cassie, j'ai 29 ans, je suis française de Paris, mais j'habite aux Pays-Bas aujourd'hui. Je suis tutrice de français sur internet et moi-même je parle français, anglais, espagnol, un peu néerlandais et j'apprends le japonais. Enchantée.
Donc merci beaucoup d'avoir suivi cette vidéo. I hope everything is clear. I'm preparing a few exercises so we can practice together next time. Don't hesitate to follow me on Instagram. I'm quite active there, though not in stories, but I swear to God, I'm trying to get better at that. And in the comments, if you have any questions, any topic you want me to talk about next time, and do not forget to subscribe. It is a brand new channel here, so it is extremely helpful if you subscribe. I will be able to make more videos like this, and I see you next week. À la semaine prochaine.